Good day, Thrivers, and welcome to the Living with Narcissists podcast. Today's episode will focus on living in your narcissistic parents' house and being financially dependent on them as an adult scapegoat. But before we get into that, I would like to first ask you to please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for subscribing. You still live with your narcissistic parents in your family home that you grew up in. This is normal. This is a reality that many people experience. Do not allow anyone to invalidate your experience because they feel that you should be in a different situation than you are in now because you're too grown. Firstly, being raised by a narcissist stunts your growth. They do not want what's best for you. They do not do everything that they can to ensure that your future is secured and give you a strong foundation to build your life on. Your life is all about them and how you can serve them or be of use to them. You'll find a lot of people blaming you for your financial situation and for still being dependent on your parents after 18. They'll judge you based on society's standards and expectations. They'll make it seem like you're the problem and that you're a burden. Firstly, that's insensitive to you and your experience. Not everyone is blessed with great financial health and can afford to be completely dependent after high school. Secondly, there is a very high unemployment rate all around the world, so you shouldn't allow someone to make it seem like it's taboo for someone to not have a job. It's a common experience. It happens everywhere. Something else to look into is the fact that children of narcissists are likely to grow up being sheltered from the real world. The narcissist had to create a fake reality specifically for their narcissistic system to work. In order for you to fall victim to their manipulation and gaslighting, they had to create a world that made it easier for them to condition you. But how do they do that? By limiting your world experience, your interactions with other people, isolating you and making you socially awkward. Maybe you didn't go on school trips, or go out with your friends outside of school, or go to a lot of birthday parties because they either attached a negative connotation to being extroverted and outdoorsy. Maybe they quickly labeled you as the kid who just likes to stay indoors, who's mature. They may have forced you to grow up too soon by gaslighting you into taking on the label of being mature for your age, and that participating in normal kid activities and behaving like your peers doesn't interest you. Over time, you adopted that as your identity, thinking that it was your own personal preference when they had conditioned you this entire time. They may have also limited your world experience and experience with other people by not prioritizing your appearance. They didn't care about buying you new clothes or making you feel taken care of. You wouldn't want to be around other kids because you were embarrassed by your wardrobe. They didn't care what shoes you wore or how you looked. They convince you that you're not a fussy child. However, you could also find that the parent themselves look very presentable to the outside world and they go shopping regularly. However, when it comes to grooming you, taking care of you and making sure that you look presentable to the world, they made it seem like it was damn near impossible. They'd say things like, "No, I don't have money for that. You need to understand our situation. I'm planning on taking you shopping soon," which never really happened. It's even easier for them to conceal the fact that they are neglecting your looks and your personal needs when you are part of a school that wears uniforms every day. That means you mostly spend your time in school attire and only need a couple of clothes for after school and the weekend. They may have shown a little bit more competency in providing you with uniform because they would have been held accountable for not doing so by other adults. You grew up knowing that you couldn't rely on your parents to make sure that you're fully taken care of. That may have affected your self-esteem as well, because I'm sure you would see how hands-on, supportive, interested, and responsible other kids' parents were. They paid attention to their hygiene, their clothing, and their appearance. It wasn't that you needed them to buy you expensive clothes and things that they honestly couldn't afford. It's that they didn't provide you with the basics and then normalized it. Maybe they didn't prioritize buying you underwear and basic toiletries. That would break your heart, and you would try to make them realize that these things are affordable to them. You may have even compared the necessities to their useless spending habits and tried to highlight to them that this was more important. Yet they seemed helpless, like they couldn't help but disappoint you in this way, as if it was an option for them to not buy you shoes or something else like that. They do that all throughout your childhood, providing poorly for you and not meeting your needs, pretending to be victims while they continue to spend on useless things and splurge on themselves to create a facade for outsiders looking in. As a kid, you felt like you had to protect them and not paint them in a negative light publicly, so you just stayed home or didn't attend events or do anything fun with your peers to avoid exposing what was happening. This is all part of their manipulation and their sabotage. Narcissistic parents sabotage you from childhood. They do that to you to make you antisocial, ashamed of yourself, have a hard time developing meaningful relationships because you're too self-conscious to pursue them, and deeply insecure, so that you're isolated from the world and they can continue the cycle of narcissistic abuse. They do not want you to have a life and to be your own person. You are an extension of them, and your life is to revolve around them. Now, this goes on for a long time, up until the moment where they are not legally obligated to provide for you. You're no longer a minor. That's when their mask starts to slip and they make it known that they have no intention to provide for you because you're an adult. It's your fault now, and everyone in society will agree with them. Whose problem is it that you don't have enough clothes or basic necessities as an adult? Why aren't you making money? Then you ask yourself, but I need to look decent in order to get a job or to attend a job interview. I need transport money to go to and from work every day. I need money for lunch. Plus, you're still afraid of going out and being a part of the world, like you were afraid of going out with friends and being free. You're still embarrassed. You're still ashamed. It's even worse now that your whole financial situation is deemed to be your fault. Then they start to make you feel pressure to make money and be a provider, whereas you don't even know what that looks like because they were terrible at providing and you grew up on financial excuses. So now you're shocked at the intensity of the demand for cash that has been placed on you when you grew up being so patient with them in their financial hardships. Suddenly, you're belittled and criticized for not paying bills and contributing to the house when you're afraid of even leaving the house, let alone finding a job. You're embarrassed by how you look, and you know that you don't have the funds to really join the workforce. You're still trying to figure things out, all while grieving the fact that you've basically been cut off financially. Sometimes it's a gradual process, sometimes they cut you off immediately, but there will be financial abuse and financial neglect on top of all the financial trauma that you've endured throughout your life and childhood. You will find that you are already at such a disadvantage at the beginning of your adult life because your parents made it their life's mission to sabotage you. Not because they genuinely couldn't afford to create a better life for you, but because they don't want to be responsible for you and they never have. Even the basic things that a parent has to provide for their adult child in order to kickstart them to success, they fail to provide deliberately. That's the difference. With narcissistic parents, it's planned and strategic to keep you dependent on them. That's the issue here. They actually want you to be dependent on them. They want you to be in a bad financial situation. They specifically created that situation so that you could be reliant on them for support, and they can use that as leverage to control you and ensure that you don't abandon them with all the emotional abuse they put you through. You see, narcissists love saying the opposite of what they really feel. So if your parent says, I care about your feelings, they mean the opposite. If they say, I want you to be independent and successful in life, they mean, I want you to be dependent on me so I can continue to make you feel bad about yourself. When they say, I want you to take care of your body so you can be healthy, they really mean, I want you to stay unfit and unhealthy so that you can be miserable and I can continue to make you feel bad about your looks and your lifestyle. Your narcissistic parent does not want you to be successful in anything. They don't want you to be healthy. They don't want you to be an independent, fully functional adult with a healthy growth mindset. So it's important for you to disregard the insensitive opinions of people who haven't walked a mile in your shoes, who want to judge you for where you are in life and for still living with your narcissistic parents. Forgive yourself for your circumstances because I know that you've been conditioned to blame yourself for your situation. You feel helpless. You feel insecure. Narcissists love to make you feel insecure, especially about things you can't control. You are not to blame for the financial position that your narcissistic parents have guaranteed that you find yourself in. You have to fight against the mean things they say to you that haunt you internally. They are not true. You are not a burden. You are not a liability. You are not wasteful. You are not useless. You are not irresponsible. You are not a failure. You are not a disappointment. You are not unworthy. Make it your responsibility to heal from their painful words. You already know deep inside of you that they are not true. It's just bullying. Bullying that you can overcome. I understand that you may not afford therapy, but you can try to help yourself out using the internet and joining support groups to try and heal from the bullying, even while still going through it. Self-help can make their words feel powerless over you. Empower yourself. Speak kindly to yourself and know that it is possible for you to be financially independent. You will be able to make a living for yourself. You have what it takes to stand on your own 2 feet and live a life free from your narcissistic parents and their bullying. You don't deserve bullying simply because you don't own a home. You don't deserve to be mistreated because you're not blessed financially. Your time will come. Do not be hasty and make the wrong decisions. Empower yourself with knowledge. Learn about money, learn about saving, learn new skills, improve yourself, build successful habits like exercising, eating healthy, waking up early, planning your day, take pride in taking care of your living space. That will make your life so much brighter. You will feel so much better about yourself because the enemy isn't the abuse you're going through in that home. It's your poor self-concept and self-esteem resulting from narcissistic abuse that's holding you back and making you count yourself out. Work on yourself so you can work on your life. But no matter what, providing for yourself and being independent should always be your end goal. Strive towards that and do not lose yourself in the abuse. It's a challenge, especially because narcissists hate progress because they're very jealous spirits. But try really hard. Try like your life depends on it because it does. Breathe in, breathe out, take care of your mental health, and don't forget to prioritize yourself.